What this is a bring and share. So the title of this series is Vital Voices. So there are no quote-unquote experts here. We are all experts in one way or another. We all have a relationship with food.
I have a great-grandson who doesn't eat anything.
Oh, yeah.
And so the first part of his life, it was all mac and cheese. That must be a thing. But now he won't touch mac and cheese. He doesn't like any kind of flesh products. He doesn't like chicken. For a while he was stuck on French fries. Now he doesn't eat those. We're having a real hates vegetables, which I don't understand at all.
I think food is a way that we show our love and that we have our connections. And so I don't have just an easy answer, but I want to just validate that it is really concerning and scary to see that. And I'd also validate that the human body wants to survive. And so what normal eating looks like for one person might be vastly different from somebody in your very own family.
My parents are from a different country, so growing up there is always like that cultural difference. But I always found myself being able to connect back home like through food. Looking back at my childhood, I could always remember like the table being set, like there always being like white rice with like whatever side dish we were eating. Like that would be the growth aspect of that. And then with the maintenance aspect of that, despite the conflict that I would have with them, I always found myself still visiting and going back home because I missed the dishes my mom would make.
As I grow older, I really wish I had maintained a lot of the knowledge that my mother had, because we always had a garden, so we always had fresh produce growing. And in the winter in Michigan, when you couldn't grow a garden, she had canned and preserved so much stuff that we had in the basement. And I think it's a lost art. But for people who are poor or people who don't have the economics, it's one of the best ways to make sure that your family is fed in nutritious ways and you don't have all the preservatives and all the things.
Many people in America live in what are called food deserts, and maybe you're aware of that. And what that means is that there's not a full-service grocery store within, basically, their access, and that can mean, walking distance, might be, and there are different in urban areas versus rural areas. But if you don't have a car in Phoenix in the middle of the summer, walking a mile and a half carrying enough groceries for a family is not really something you can do.
I don't know that I think that given how food technology took us away from whole foods, that I trust as much that our bodies are eating what we really need, because we have access to sugar and we have access to these things that are kind of addictive. So anyway, I just think that cycle is interesting. I'm hoping that we continue to move in that direction where everybody has more access to whole foods. But technology has done its good and bad around food.
How do we take those technologies and invite them back into our lives and into the value systems that we think are actually most critical? So rather than food technology being the thing that's used to constantly extract money from us and constantly impose specific sorts of burdens on our bodies, what happens if we invert that system? And I still don't know what that looks like, but it's the thing that I'm most excited about, because the science itself could be used in different ways. It could be used to improve the processes we use at home. It could be used to bring together communities in the ways that people used to come together to build a house together.
Growing up, I learned that even though, and I've experienced this, even though we may not be able to communicate linguistically, through language, people are willing to share food, and that's how we communicate. So I believe food equals communication.
Food definitely for me has been a uniting front, and my students learned a lot, and I learned a lot from them, because that's what it is about teaching. It's always a two-way street.